The federal court system is feeling the impacts of the government shutdown, including here locally. Cases are delayed, training is stopped, and some services aren't running.
His deepest puncture wound is right in front of the ear, and then there's one above the eye.
Oh, look at that little buddy. He took quite the tumble. This Chihuahua puppy survived after a hawk dropped him from the sky.
Tracking a few light snow flurries in the southern part of the state. Some of those are headed our way. I'll tell you more about that and your full forecast next.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone. I'm Jane McCarthy. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history has now entered day 25. President Donald Trump says he's not backing down on his demands to fund a border wall.
Meanwhile, from TSA agents to IRS employees, hundreds of thousands of people are either off the job or working without pay. That includes federal court employees. Both the U.S. Prosecutor's Office and Public Defender's Office are feeling the pinch.
Cases are delayed, training has stopped, and several services cut. KREM 2's Alexa Block is live in the newsroom with the local impacts on the federal court system. Alexa?
Now, the partial government shutdown is taking its toll on the federal court system here in Eastern Washington. Attorneys with the Eastern Washington District's U.S. Attorney's Office have not been paid so far in 2019. In a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office, their attorneys are still showing up to court, filing motions and seeking indictments, but they aren't being paid for it. Since the U.S. Attorney's Office's funding lapsed, they're just focusing on criminal cases. Civil cases have been put on hold. Federal law requires them to work even without being paid, and to prioritize cases that affect people's safety and protect property. At this point, there are some employees who are off the job for now, and some who are working without pay. And things are not much better at the Federal Defender's Office of Eastern Washington and Idaho. While their federal funds aren't expected to run out until March, they're still trying to save every nickel they can, unaware of how long the shutdown will last. According to the executive director, they have cut back on training and paying experts. They've had to delay cases and put some mental health evaluations on hold. Of course, it's too soon for anyone to speculate on what this would mean for the outcome of active court cases. Now, as far as district court workers like clerks, they'll be funded until the end of the week. They are also required to work without pay. They'll make cuts to training and services to get by until the shutdown has ended. In the newsroom, Alexa Block, KREM 2 News.
Alexa, thank you very much. There was concern the shutdown would impact federal food assistance programs. Tonight, the Department of Social and Health Services says most SNAP or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program clients will receive their February benefits early. SNAP, which is known as Basic Food in Washington, will issue February benefits by January 20th. The agency says this will help minimize the impact of a potential lapse in funding next month. The agency says 900,000 children and adults rely on food benefits here in Washington state.
Well, one of our own here at KREM 2 had their car broken into recently. This is, of course, not unheard of in Spokane, but we did find it interesting the method the thieves used to break the window. They used a spark plug.
KREM 2's Amanda Rowley talked with Spokane police to find out how common this is and what other odd tactics there are out there as well. Amanda?
Well, this is what our digital producer's husband woke up to recently. Their car window broken and a pair of Oakley sunglasses stolen. Now, among the shattered glass, they found what looked like pieces of a spark plug in the car and another piece of it in the street. Police say this method isn't uncommon.
Using a spark plug ceramic to break out a car window is not a new practice. It's been going on for a lot of years. It's easy to conceal. It's a very small item, and it can be done in a matter of seconds.
Officer John O'Brien says there have been cases where someone will even tie the spark plug to the end of a string and swing it at the window to break in. But he's seen other methods as well, saying vehicle prowlers will use any means to break in.
Whether they kick the window out with their foot, they pick up a rock that may be in your yard to bust the window out, they carry things with them. Hammers in their backpack.
Some cars have even been broken into without damage to the windows. O'Brien says that's because car prowlers are finding ways to hack new vehicle technology that can unlock car doors.
We have not come across a person with a device like that, but in the age of the internet, I believe you probably could find a way to order an electronic device that is defeating some car system security systems.
Okay, but why a spark plug? Well, I asked an employee at Napa Auto Parts today, and they say it's a few reasons. It's cheap, only $1 and some change. It's small and heavy and can do a lot of damage despite its size. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you very much. To weather now, we are seeing some cold overnight temperatures. Kathy shared this photo from Deary, Idaho, which is just east of Moscow, of the frost on one of her Christmas lights. She says it was 8 degrees at her house when she took this picture.
That's beautiful. We'll see some changes later this week. Tom in the Weather Center now tracking some rain and snow. Hi, Tom.
Yeah, I think that's referred to as hoarfrost that we saw on that. That was absolutely beautiful. You'll see that also if you ride up Chair 1 at Mount Spokane. Even if they haven't had any recent snow, you'll see a lot of the trees with that same sort of frost on them as well. 29 degrees right now. Wind is out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. You see that on the current radar, we actually have some light snow flurries that are moving up the Idaho, Washington, Palouse, and also into the mountains of central Idaho. And we may see a few flurries here locally as well, but nothing really to accumulate. That's a closer view, so it's kind of in between right now, Moscow and kind of the northern portion of northern Whitman County. Again, that's that light snow flurry activity. Going to get cold tonight, again, with an overnight low of 22. Don't be surprised if you see a flurry. Again, no accumulation. Should burn off the clouds by midday tomorrow and enjoy at least some sunshine. We'll look for partly cloudy skies and a daytime high of 32. Wet weather moves in on Thursday, sticks around through the weekend, but that will warm our temperatures back up to around 40 degrees for both Saturday and Sunday. Could start out with a little early morning snow, and then for the rest of the day should just be plain old rain. I'll check the rest of your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you very much. Something else our meteorologists are monitoring, of course, that air stagnation advisory we've been talking about for the past few days for parts of the inland northwest.
Yeah, air quality in Spokane, though, still rated as good. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick explains why.
Parts of Washington and Oregon have been under an air stagnation advisory for the past several days, but this doesn't necessarily mean that the air quality has been poor. What it does mean is that stagnant air can lead to worsening air quality. The Columbia Basin is notorious when it comes to air quality issues because of its natural geography. It sits at a lower elevation to the surrounding Cascades and northern Rocky Mountains. When high pressure sits overhead, this pushes the air down and effectively traps it in the basin because of its stability. Think of a room with no ventilation, but on a statewide scale. That's stagnant air. If pollutants are released into the stagnant air over time, that can lead to poor air quality. Sometimes there are local burn bans put in place to help prevent worsening air quality for the area. The Air Quality Index, or AQI, is used to measure air quality and has 6 categories, from good to hazardous. When air quality drops, those most likely to experience health risks are individuals with heart disease, those with asthma, pregnant women, outdoor workers, elderly, kids under age 14, and athletes who exercise outdoors. And even healthy individuals may experience minor symptoms like irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat, shortness of breath, and coughing. For KREM 2 News, meteorologist Thomas Patrick.
Well, Alaska Airlines is about to go through a big hiring spree.
Yeah, the airline planning to add a little more than 3,000 new jobs this year, and 3/4 of those jobs will be in Washington state. The new openings include jobs in maintenance, airport operations, and customer service. There are also openings for cargo specialists, flight attendants, and pilots. A majority of the new jobs will be posted online. Most do not require previous airline experience. For more information, we'll have a link on our website. That's KREM.com. That's good news, right? Well, it is known as the Miracle on the Hudson. Today marks 10 years since a pilot made an emergency landing on the Hudson River, saving 155 lives.
Just minutes after taking off from New York's LaGuardia Airport, the airplane's engines were taken out by a flock of geese. Passengers say they could smell something burning in the cabin, and that caused some panic. The captain, Chesley Sullenberger, also known as Sully, said his choice was to either land in the Hudson or try for a nearby airport, but he said they would not have made it to the airport. So just minutes later, the plane splashed down right into the river in one piece. Passengers climbed onto the wing and were rescued from there.
I still remember just standing up, and the plane had already filled with water. The water was really cold, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm alive. This water feels so good, like I'm alive.
Wow. Well, the plane is now on display at the Carolinas Aviation Museum in Charlotte. Today, the museum hosted a special event to mark this 10-year anniversary, and it is still just unbelievable
it's
to
wild.
recount that story.
And crazy, it's already been 10 years.
Yeah.
Man.